Virgin Atlantic is making its boldest move yet. New cabins, smarter technology, and a premium heavy fleet overhaul that gets the full aviation industry watching. From free Starlink Wi-Fi to shrinking the economy cabin by nearly a third, this isn't just a refresh, I think it's a reinvention. So is this the start of Virgin Atlantic 2.0 or a high stakes bet in a shifting market? Let's unpack what's really changing at Virgin Atlantic. And let's kick off. Let's have a look at Starling Wi-Fi. That's rolling out across Virgin Atlantic. It's going to be the first UK airline to adopt Starlink across its entire fleet. You may have heard of airlines like Qatar Airways adopting it. Some great reviews out there, people talking about better quality Wi-Fi in the air than they have at home. And that's what it is. It's free streaming quality Wi-Fi, but it'll only be for Flying Club members. Starlink don't allow you, if you fit their Wi-Fi product, to charge money for it. But Virgin quite cleverly are saying, oh, you'll only be able to use Starlink if you're in the Virgin Flying Club. Rollout begins in Q3 2026, so that's about 15 months time, and it will complete at the end of 2027. And all the fleet that has a long-term future of Virgin Atlantic will be fitted. That's 14 of the 787s, the A330neos that are there currently, and the new ones on order, and the A350s. It allows multi-device use, live streaming, gaming, and of course allows you to get on with your work. This isn't just about connectivity. I think this is a bit of a loyalty magnet for Virgin Atlantic. I'm pretty sure the free Wi-Fi will drive the Flying Club sign-ups, and it's probably going to raise expectations right across the board in the aviation industry. Well, the other bit of news that I thought was pretty dramatic is news of the 787-9 refit program. Ever since Virgin made progress with A350 introduction and the A330neos have arrived, people have been saying, what about these dreadful seats on the 787-9? And what is it that people don't like about them? Well, lots of people don't like the fact that you're sat facing away from the window, looking into the aircraft, quite often looking into the eyes of another passenger. The seats are very, very narrow. They're quite old, and the new 787-9s get a cabin redesign that kicks off in 2028, completes in 2030, very much inspired by the A330neo layout. Upper class seats increase from 31 to 44, with 8 retreat suites. Premium seats 35 to 56. Economy class reduces from 192 to 127. So a bit of a gamble from Virgin there, that they're going to be able to sell their premium seats at a decent yield to make up for what is going to be 65 economy seats disappearing out of the back of the aircraft, as well as the bar that's also removed. The end of the coffin on Virgin Atlantic, I think, is well overdue, but removing the bar and slashing economy capacity, I think, is a very bold move. And has somebody told Richard Branson, as Head for Points said in their article, because he was on the record recently moaning about the loss of the bar and saying that he was going to tell Virgin Atlantic management to bring it back. He's no longer involved in running the airline, but this could be embarrassing for Virgin Atlantic. And that big question I raised, will the new layout deliver the yield that Virgin is clearly banking on with these changes? So onto the Airbus A330neo. The aircraft deliveries have been confirmed. They'll be commencing in Q3 2026, and 10 A330neos will join the fleet, 3 from the existing order, 7 aircraft that were ordered last July and July 24. That brings the total size of the fleet up to 19 of those. They'll have 48 upper class seats in the new aircraft, 56 in premium, 128 in economy, and there'll be 6 retreat suites, all powered of course by the Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engine, and Virgin really doubling down on their premium density, and they're going to add 400 plus upper class seats each day to the fleet. Will they be able to sell those? That of course is the multi-million-dollar question here. What else are Virgin up to? Well, they've announced an extensive refurbishment of their 2 biggest lounges, what they call their club houses, multi-million-pound upgrades at Heathrow Terminal 3 and at JFK, very much inspired by the LAX Clubhouse design in Los Angeles, velvety textures, a sunset palette, and they'll be serving all sorts of interesting food like the Clubhouse burger, the Mile High tea, cherry pie in the sky. Now, you know, we all know Virgin Atlantic's lounges have always been a big brand statement, and now they're evolving into lifestyle spaces. But can they scale that intimacy across the locations? The Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse refurbishment kicks off very, very soon. Let's see what happens. And finally, a new app for Virgin Atlantic launches later this year in December 25. It's faster, it's simpler, it's smarter, and it integrates your airline ticketing with holidays booked through Virgin, built for Flying Club members but accessible to everybody. So fascinating developments at Virgin Atlantic. New routes also coming to Riyadh, to Accra, to Toronto. Some smart route choices maybe, but what's going on in the cabins really interested. Is Virgin Atlantic going more premium, going to pay off? Do drop your thoughts in the comments below if you want to have a deep dive into the new 787 layout when we see more, or you want to understand the impact of Starlink on the in-flight experience. Hit the subscribe button, click for notifications. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a forthcoming edition here on Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams, and I'll catch you in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.